Hi, this is Jill Riley, and I am the Communications Assistant for the PAC Northwest Conference. And I am excited today to welcome Katy Andlovec. Katy, it's nice to see you.
Hi.
Katy has been the Associate Pastor of Family Ministries at First Covenant Portland since August 1st. And I thought this would be a good chance for us to get to know her a little bit. So, Katy, could you tell us just a little bit about your personal and ministry background?
Yeah, sure. I'm originally from Miami. That's where I grew up. My parents still live there. Um, Trying to get them to move out here, but that's a little slow going. Um, yeah, so I moved to Portland in late 2011 to go to seminary. And I had the intention of going to Latin America to be a missionary, but I very quickly fell in love with Portland and my church community, and I decided to stay, and now I never want to leave. Like, Portland is for me, you know?
That's home.
Yeah, I love it. And I grew up going to church, and I've been volunteering in church since I was old enough, mostly in children's ministry. And then when I was in seminary, I discovered that I liked leading like small group style Bible studies. And I started to explore preaching a little bit. But that was a little bit difficult because I was in a complementarian church.
Mhm.
So it kind of felt like, well, I have all these gifts, but like I'm not sure where to use them.
Right.
So yeah. But then I married my husband Jordan in July 2020. We had a COVID wedding. That's a whole different story.
Yes.
Yeah. So he had been at Bread and Wine for like 7 or 8 years, and I joined that church when we got married. And they at the time had just joined the Covenant Church.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was like learning more about that, and especially like ordaining women. And our pastor, Sherrod, was like so encouraging of my gifts and just excited to have me there, and was like, Katy, what do you want to do? Like, you can do all of this stuff, which was a little overwhelming at first, but
How
it was,
refreshing.
yes, yes. But yeah, so exciting. And yeah, and then last year, Bread and Wine merged with First Covenant, and then it was brought to my attention that there was this family ministries position, and Sherrod and my husband and Chad, who's the pastor at First Cove, they, and really anyone I talked to about it encouraged me to go for it. It was like everyone saw these gifts in me, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I should. So I went for it, and yeah. So
That's
went through the,
great.
yeah, the interview process was so great and all that, and so affirming. And then I got the call in June, and I had to wait till August, which was like, you know,
Oh,
like
that's
affirming.
wonderful. Well,
Yeah,
welcome. Glad you're here.
thank
So, what
you.
are you finding that you're most passionate about right now in ministry?
Oh yeah. Right now I'm so excited about the kids and the teenagers in our church, and helping our church to receive and celebrate them, and like celebrate their gifts. And we have so many amazing kids, and I love watching them discover and share their gifts. I love that they feel comfortable enough and safe enough to do that.
Hmm.
I'm really and getting I'm really enjoying getting to know them and their families, and I love hearing the questions that they have as they're like exploring
Right.
their faith. Such good questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We can
yeah,
learn so much from them with their great questions and curiosities, right?
totally. Yeah, they'll ask something and I'm like, oh, I hadn't thought about that before. That's a very good question. Yeah.
That's great. So, how can the conference best support and pray for you during this season?
Yeah, I think right now, especially this summer, pray for me as I'm growing and embracing and inhabiting my call as a pastor. Um, like I said, it wasn't ever something that I thought that I could do. And now that I'm here, I'm like, oh, so like, what does this mean? What does it mean for me, Katy? Like, how has God made me and equipped me to carry out his ministry? Like,
Yes.
what is it that I bring to the table? So I'm doing a lot of like self discovery and reflection and stuff like that this summer. and I'm excited
That's
to see what I
great.
find out.
Well, we
Yeah.
will support you in that, and conference family. If you would just join with Katy in ministry by praying and supporting her, and maybe contacting her and welcoming her to the conference, we'd appreciate it.
I would
So,
love that.
as is our tradition with these welcome interviews, we have like some a little shotgun of questions, and so I've asked you to identify some that you'd like to answer. So the first one was, what is your personal philosophy?
Yeah, I think it's so important to save room for imagination and creativity. I think as we get older and we think being an adult is very serious and we have to take things seriously, and I don't like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think it's so important to just be silly every once in a while, you know.
absolutely. What's your
Yeah.
favorite creative outlet?
Oh, wow. Okay. I love to knit and sew.
Hmm.
I just love to make things in general.
Yeah,
So, but I especially love knitting and sewing. Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. What is your very favorite thing to do?
Oh, I love to make things.
Yep,
And lately it's to like hang out with the kids in our church, especially the teenagers.
wonderful. So, if you could do another job for just one day, only one day, what would it be?
I think I'd love just for a day an art teacher. I think
That's
that would be
great.
really fun.
What
Yeah.
grades?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe elementary or middle school or high school, whatever. It
Yep,
would be fun. I just think I've always loved art class as a kid, and I think that would be really fun. Yeah.
that's great. The heart of a creative. So, what would you most like to tell yourself as a 13-year-old?
Not everyone is thinking about you as much as you think they are.
True.
Everyone is thinking about themselves.
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
So don't be so self-conscious.
And the last question I have is, what is the best book you've ever read? And you can't say the Bible because that's cheating.
That's the Sunday school answer. Yeah. Um, I don't One of the best books I've ever read is a book by Francis Schaeffer called Art and the Bible.
Mhm.
I studied, as you've probably picked up, I'm creative and art and craft has always been a part of my life. And I studied art history in college. And so then when I turned towards like theology and ministry, I wondered like, how can these things be integrated?
Mhm.
And this book, it's a great little book, helped me to understand that as Christians, we've had an encounter with God and we should be the most creative people. And so he goes through like the Old Testament, like building the tabernacle and all of that. And yeah, it just opened my eyes to this world of the crossover of theology and art, which is a topic that I love to
Love it.
explore and talk
Love
about.
it.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, thanks for your time for this short little interview. And I'm just excited to have met you here. And hopefully, sometime we get to meet in person and conference. Let's welcome Katy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.